welcome to the Budget Mom YouTube channel. I'm Kamiko Love from thebudgetmom.com, and today we are doing another real life budget. Today we're going to be looking at Elisha's numbers, and we're going to be putting that into the Budget by Paycheck method. Now, Elisha is a single mom and currently lives in New York City as a medical assistant. She has $295 a month given to her in food stamps, as well as $700 a month on the last day of the month for child support. So really this, when I was reading Elisha's information in her story, I can't lie, I really resonated with it. One, because I'm a single mom to a 9-year-old also. I don't live in New York City and I don't live in a place that is so expensive, but her reason why for being on this financial transformation, I could definitely relate to. Also, when I was going through her information, now I want to make it very clear, Elisha has been following the Budget Mom for quite a while. And in that time, she has done the hard work. She has paid off all of her debts besides her student loans. She has prioritized and created sinking funds and savings goals in her life. She has decreased any outside or unnecessary spending that doesn't bring value or joy into her life. She has just really done the hard work to get to the place we are seeing now. So I definitely wanted to mention that. She did not start here. This is where she is currently. So let's take a look at Elisha's information. So before we jump into putting Elisha's numbers into the Budget by Paycheck method, let's take a look at her why and a little bit more about her personal story. So her why is her son. I want to be able to provide my son with a secure and stable life and future. I would also love to be able to travel with him so we can learn about different places and cultures together. I love that. Oh, I love that. I feel that. Okay, a little bit more about a personal story. I'm a single mom to a 9-year-old. I want to be able to provide a good future for my son and also teach him how to handle his money wisely for his future so he is financially educated and doesn't struggle with debts like I have. With the help of budgeting, I have been able to pay off all of my credit card debt and only have a portion of my student loan to pay off. I had a slap in the face moment 2 years ago when I went to purchase something I didn't need as usual online, and I had less than $20 left on the credit card. That caused me to investigate which other card I can use, and I realized I had maxed all of them out. I realized then that this is not the life I want for myself and my son, and ever since then I have been budgeting and I have cut down a lot of unnecessary costs so I can focus on giving my son a better life. I want to work towards buying our dream home one day and building a financially secure life for us. I recently started a new job, so my pay has increased significantly than before. Even though I'm still budgeting, I still feel like my budget is messy and something is missing. All right, so it's true. When I was going through Elisha's information, she has done some hard work to get to this place. That is for sure. All right, so first things first, let's look at her income. So she's currently paid bi-weekly with her medical assistant job, and she gets that child support of $700 on the last day of the month. She currently has a total monthly income of $3,432. And if we look at her bills and fixed expenses, she has rent, which is by far the biggest expense, it's $1,100. Now, when I was looking at this, it looks to me as if she is paying 3 lines for phone. She's paying her phone, her mom's phone line, and her son's phone line, each line being $18. Also, every Monday, she invests into her son's UGMA account. So a UGMA account is not an investment account specifically for college. It's an investment account that's used for the benefit of the child. Now, like I said, this is held in the name of the minor, but the parent has control of that money until the child reaches the age of majority. So that's what the UGMA is. It's an investment account for the benefit of her child. She does then also she just put investment account. I don't know if this is a retirement account, if this is a non-retirement brokerage account, but she invests every Monday $25 to that and then $25 to her UGMA. She has childcare at the end of the month for $300, and then every payday she's putting $40 to replenish her checking account cushion. All of her fixed expenses equal $2,140 a month. Now she did put here, and we know that the student loan forbearance was extended until August 31st of this year. So her payments haven't started on her student loans. She's just wanting to make those payments to get a head start on that and to take advantage of the 0% interest. So these are her variable expenses. We have fun, home and health, miscellaneous, a $200 spending for her son, $20 for herself, $30 for laundry, and $200 for food. Now, you might be asking why $200 is so low for food. That's because she gets food stamps for around $295 a month, and then she cash flows the rest that she needs for that month, which is usually around $200. All of her variable expenses equal $700 per month. Let's look at her savings. She has a lot of savings goals and priorities going on. Her top 5 priorities are one being a moving expense that she needs by 2023. She wants a down payment of $20,000 for her dream house, establishing a $10,000 emergency fund, $5,000 for a car purchase, and then $4,000 for vacation, which is priority number 5 for her. She does have some money saved for these goals already. Now down here is more of her sinking funds. These are things like clothes, her son's birthday, Christmas, back to school, beauty, New Year's gifts, and her mom. Now, some of them are revolving, meaning that they're just ongoing. She saves and spends, saves and spends. There is no real goal amount per se. And then she has more specific kind of hard goal limits, like a $300 Christmas goal. She already has $82 for that. She currently has 8 months to save, so she needs to save about $28 a month to reach that goal. So this is what her savings priorities look like in her life. Now debt, she has done some hard work. She is down to 2 student loans left, one at $3,500, one at $4,100. Low interest rates, 2.75%, but with this extension on our student loan pause, none of these are due as of now, but she is wanting to start that process on paying these off. So what does this all look like in the Budget by Paycheck method? So here we have our budget calendar. Now she has rent due on the 1st, and then on the 4th, that UGMA and investment for $50 total here on the 4th, and then she's getting her payday on the 7th and 21st, and then the last payment of $700 on the last day of the month. Now, I'm assuming that the rent and the things happening on the 4th have been paid with the March pay because she doesn't get paid again until the 7th. So if we look at this payday right here on April 7th, she's going to use her paycheck of $1,366. She's going to pay everything in green. So we have that cushion, the UGMA times 2, the investment of $25 times 2, because that's happening every Monday. One of the phone lines, student loans, Apple storage for $1. And then what I am going to do, because rent is her biggest expense, we're breaking down how we're gonna break out how we pay for that. Each paycheck, we're gonna do $200 to go towards covering rent, and she's gonna use the full $700 at the end of the month for that rent purchase, giving her $1,100 by the end of the month to be prepared for that rent payment on the 1st. So on 5/1, I'm putting $200. Now, I just wanted to show what this looks like visually. If we go to the May calendar, she has this rent due on the 1st for $1,100. I personally like to put a little dot with the color of the paycheck that I am using and how much for each paycheck. That way I know how this expense is being covered. So that's how it visually looks like on your budget calendar. So after we pay everything in green, which is gonna cover us all the way till our next paycheck, we're gonna be spending $659, leaving us $707 left over. So what I decided to do is we're gonna take care of all of her variable spending. So she has that in the beginning of the month to spend. That's $700, leaving her $7 left over that we're gonna just throw into the emergency savings goal. If we look at her paycheck on the 21st, we're gonna pay everything in pink. So everything for the rest of the month, which equals $731. If we subtract that for our income, we're left with $635. So what do we do with the $635? I'm able to take care of all of those sinking funds, as well as have $553 to choose what to do. Now, if we look at her savings goals, this moving expense is her priority number one. She knows this is coming up in 2023. It has to be saved for so she has the money to spend for that move. So I decided to put the remaining $553 towards that expense. Now, with that being said, if we continue to do every single paycheck like I have shown in these two budgets, we can pay and reach our moving goal in 5 to 6 months. And then we can go back to slowly building back up this emergency fund while doing other savings. But what I want people to recognize here is trade-offs. With the trade-offs, you need to understand that with this, you're gonna make a lot slower progress tackling all these different goals over making quicker progress just picking one goal to work towards. But sometimes that's life. She may decide that working on multiple of these goals is a priority for her, but we have to know the trade-offs that we're making to be comfortable with that decision. So that is Elisha's information using the Budget by Paycheck method. And when I was looking at all of this definitely comes down to prioritizing her sinking funds and her savings goals. She has 5 huge savings goals. Number 1 is that moving expense. Number 2 is the dream home purchase. Number 3 is the emergency fund. Number 4 is that car down payment. And number 5 is that vacation. And then she's working with 8 different sinking funds: clothes, son's birthday, Christmas, back to school, beauty, New Year's, gifts, mom. So the great thing is, and the blessing that is involved in all of this, is when you're dealing with savings goals or sinking funds, you have the control to prioritize those in your life. What certain things you want to save for, what things can be put on the back burner, which ones are a priority, which ones are less of a priority, and you get to dictate in your budget where your money is being thrown at when it comes to these savings goals. So if it were me, my recommendation is to bump that emergency fund a little bit higher on the priority list. It's great she has about $2,400 saved, but as a single mom living in a pretty expensive area, I would definitely look at least getting to half of her emergency fund goal, which is $5,000, and then look at spreading out where she is throwing some of her money for her savings or sinking goals. I know that she does have one big priority, the moving expense, that she needs to have done by 2023. So that gives her a year and a little over a year and a half to get there. Looking at what we have done with the Budget by Paycheck and her budgets, if she strictly throws any extra income in her budget towards the moving expense, she'll have that paid off in 5 to 6 months. If she knows she's moving, she knows that's going to be expense, it's an important expense, get it done, get it out of the way. Then move to that emergency fund. It is nice because she does have that $2,400 in emergencies that she can fall back on if she needs it, but you can work towards that moving expense first and then start with the emergency fund, or the emergency fund and the moving, and then the moving goal, because she has it in her budget to accomplish that moving expense either way. When it comes to her sinking funds, I always say that sinking funds should not take over our lives. When you get to a place and you're creating your budget and you have all these different sinking funds and you're like, man, I don't have money for anything else, or I don't have enough money in my budget to even fund all these things that I want. Wants versus needs. Filling up and fulfilling those priority needs when it comes to our sinking funds. Now, there are some things like property taxes or house insurance, things that come up either on an annual or semi-annual basis that are necessities. Get those in your sinking funds, establish those. And then look at your wants when it comes to your sinking funds. Now, when I'm looking at all 8 of these are all wants. And so we really have to determine if we can't hit all these, can this money be allocated to a more important priority or need in our life when it comes to our savings? It comes from the question, what are we trying to accomplish with our money? And if either or any of your savings goals don't align with that answer, then it's time to reprioritize and re-strategize where we are throwing our dollars when it comes to our savings goals. So if you found this video helpful, please like it and don't forget to subscribe. Elisha is a single mom to a 9-year-old. Wait, it doesn't say 9-year-old.